On Sunday, November 24, 2024, COP29 Baku agreed on a $300 billion annual funding target to help poorer nations manage the effect of climate change. Although this deal surpassed the previous $100 billion commitment, its intended beneficiaries criticized it as insufficient for addressing the scale of the crisis. The deal, reached an overtime at the two-week meeting in Azerbaijan's capital, was intended to boost momentum for international efforts to combat global warming in a year expected to be the hottest on record. Some delegates gave the agreement a standing ovation in the COP29 plenary hall. Others criticized wealthy countries for not contributing more and the Azerbaijani host for rushing through the difficult scheme. Indian delegates Chandni Raina voiced dissatisfaction at the closing session, saying, "I regret to say this document is nothing more than an optical illusion. It will not address the enormity of the challenge we all face. Therefore, we oppose its adoption." UN Climate Chief Simon Still acknowledged the difficulty of the negotiations but praised the outcome. He said, "It has been a difficult journey, but we've delivered a deal. This agreement will sustain the clean energy boom and protect billions of lives. But like any insurance policy, it works only if premiums are paid in full and on time." This accord will give $300 billion annually by 2035, surpassing rich countries' prior commitment to provide $100 billion annually in climate funding by 2020. That earlier goal was achieved 2 years later in 2022 and will expire in 2025. The agreement also provides the basis for next year's climate summit, which will take place in Brazil's Amazon rainforest, where government will plan the following decade of climate action. The conference addressed the financial responsibilities of industrialized countries, whose historic use of fossil fuels has generated the majority of greenhouse gas emissions, to compensate others for the worsening climate change damage. It also laid bare divisions between wealthy governments constrained by the tight domestic budgets and developing nations reeling from the cost of storms, floods, and droughts. Negotiations were supposed to end on Friday, but they were extended because delegates from over 200 countries were unable to reach an agreement. Talks on Saturday saw a walkout by some delegations over disagreement on funding priorities. Marshall Islands envoy Tina Stitch summarized their sentiment. She said, "We are living with a small portion of the funding climate vulnerable countries urgently need. It isn't nearly enough, but it's a start." The $300 billion fund aims to fulfill the Paris Agreement goal of limiting global temperature rise to 1.5 degrees Celsius, that is 2.7 degrees Fahrenheit, above the industrial levels. However, the 2024 UN emissions gap report warns that the planet is on track to warm up by up to 3.1 degrees Celsius, that is 5.6 degrees Fahrenheit, by the century's end, underscoring the urgency of collective action. U.S. climate advisor John Podesta commented on the difficulty of achieving the consensus. He said there's definitely a challenge in getting greater ambition when you are negotiating with the Saudis. As the world looks to the COP30 in Brazil's Amazon forest, the focus will shift to implementation and scaling up the climate action over the next decade. Whether the commitment made in Baku will translate to meaningful progress remains uncertain. Tell us what you think about this development in the comment section below, and don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more updates.